So okay, your snowboarding career ends essentially why? Well, there's the injuries
The
and
injuries,
everything,
and
but
then,
then the art just becomes a bigger and bigger part of your life to the point where it's kind of the whole thing.
well, yeah, it was kind of the music,
Right.
and then I started a project called Gucci Ghost, which was actually a record.
Okay. So it was a song first.
It was an
Okay.
EP. It was an
Okay.
EP that the first Gucci Ghost piece ever made was an EP, and then I started creating like this visual identity around it to bring focus to it. So it really started. I went to the Philippines. I was DJing a party for my friend, and I was leaving. It was right before Halloween. I went to the market, and there was some bootleg Gucci fabric. And I always was like into like, I was never into like Gucci proper, like going to the Gucci store or whatever.
Action sports and like designer fashion did not overlap
Yeah, it
at
was like
all
I
at
was
that
wearing
time.
Dickies and
Right.
going to the thrift store, the Salvation Army with my mom, you know, and like cutting stuff apart and sewing it back together and stuff like fine. But so basically, yeah, I bought this bootleg fabric. I came home to New York. I didn't have a costume. I just cut eye holes in the fabric and skated around New York as Gucci Ghost. And like, I was fascinated by the fact that people immediately were like, Gucci Ghost before it was a thing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that kind of, and I was simultaneously working on this record, you know? And so I started drawing this Gucci Ghost, and then I started like painting it and doing wheat paste around the city and like painting trash cans and like dragging stuff into my studio and transform my whole studio, and all my clothes I was wearing, I was like painting, and it was really an effort to like extract some power from the brand, something really familiar to people, because I was fascinated that people would like stand next to a trash can and take a photo, you know what I mean? Or like a wall where it was like, I just thought that that was really interesting. And
It reminds me of Dapper Dan
well, yeah, I
because
mean,
he was making his own versions of all this designer shit, which from our modern day perspective of it, it's kind of like, oh, that's copyright infringement. But at that time, he had all the flyest dudes, drug dealers, etc., in New York, just dying to get his custom
well,
designer
and
shit.
he was reimagining the brand.
Yeah.
You know, he was bringing silhouettes that didn't exist. He was bringing like he was bringing something that,
that now they want.
of course. Yeah, of course. And they see, you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, at that time, I was just putting the stuff in the street, like really doing it in this really stripped down, raw way where I was breaking it apart. I wasn't using this perfect version of the logo. I was like doing it in this really messy way and spray painting it and really like a punk rock energy behind it. And um, and that was really just to bring people into me as an artist and what I was doing with the record and what I was doing with the, you know, like just as an artist, period. Like, and it wasn't with the intention to actually reach the brand at all.
Right.
I didn't start the project to get at Gucci. But at a certain point, I definitely was like, damn, they should do this. You know,
Right.
I was doing it for like 3 years. And
Had you done much street art before you started doing all that wheat pasting and stuff?
No.
This concept was so inspiring to you that you just started going outside the box of what you had done before?
Yeah, and it was everywhere. It wasn't just like street. It was like in the studio or on the internet or like in a film. Like I would kind of inject this mascot or this identity into it to just on every like medium that I was working on with art, just to like bring people into what I was doing, because I felt what I was doing was somewhat influential to the influential people around me, you know? And so I just kept going really full steam on that and obsessing on that. And, you know, at a certain point, I did think to myself, like, they should do this. And everyone's telling me, oh, Gucci will never fuck with you, you know, like, they don't light their own cigarettes, like, they they've never collaborated with an artist, and you're not a famous artist, so like it's not gonna happen, and you're just gonna get sued. And then I was like, shit, I'm just gonna do this till they sue me or hire me, because at that point then I know like I'm really affecting something and I have nothing, like sue me, go ahead. You
Like
know
them
what I mean?
suing you would probably get you a big fucking news cycle that would have brought a shitload of
Exactly.
attention to you anyway. It's like protesting and then getting arrested.
Exactly.
Because if you protest and you don't get arrested, it's like realistically, how many people are going to know that you were
Nothing
protesting
happened.
in the first
Yeah.
place?
Yep.
But was there, okay, one way of looking at it is like, this is amazing that I'm able to sort of like use a version of their branding and be able to get such a reaction from people and people are so drawn to it. Was there ever the other side of it going on in your brain where it's just like, I'm doing a fuckload of free promotion for a brand that realistically has yet to show me any kind of attention?
Not really, because I felt like I was creating my own brand and I was doing it with or without them anyway, you know, and it was really just, I felt like it was just something of the times and it felt honest to me. And again, like a lot of people around me told me not to do it and why are you doing this? And you can't, like, you know, even the closest people to me were like, oh, you should, when are you going to stop painting Gucci on everything? And like, but I don't know. I felt like it was, I don't know. I just felt compelled to do it because it just felt honest and I was having fun with it. It was like, I was coming home like, yo, check out this whole Gucci house I painted, or like, check out this whole row of trash cans. And like, and then I started doing paintings as well, where it was like, I was really kind of channeling my own energy and like reimagining the brand and doing these Life is Gucci paintings or like the Casper stuff, or, you know, and it was just fun. And so I just kept doing it. And then eventually, yeah.
Because before we get to you actually collaborating with them, it's kind of like multiple ways you could think about designer fashion. And I'll admit that like at many times in my life, I've pretty much just gravitated towards like, this is bullshit that massive corporations trick people into spending ridiculous amounts of money on.
Yeah.
And I do kind of see it as like a sickness almost for a lot of people where they are not at a financial point in their life where they can afford it, and they end up just trying to sort of keep up with their peers and everything by buying expensive clothes and stuff. And then I guess the other way of viewing it is just like, these are some of the most incredible brands that we've had. If you like the idea of brands, if you're fascinated by, you know, a Supreme or a whatever, then I mean, this is like, these are brands that have been being built for hundreds and hundreds of years that have basically accomplished a level of elitism in society that almost no brand could ever hope to get to. I mean, there's got to be a real fascination about that.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
It's built in, because why the fuck are you getting such a reaction when you start painting is because this does hold a lot of prestige in a lot of people's minds.
For sure. And it did even in my own mind. I guess I'm a victim of that sickness as well, where it was like, you know, that's why I would go to Canal Street and buy like a fake Gucci Dickie suit type thing, or like buy even like fake Jordans to skate in, because I was like, I don't want to actually buy that shit, but I want to have it because it looks dope and my heroes are wearing it. You know what I mean? So it's a bit of both. And I definitely was aware of that when I started it, and that's why I really, once I noticed how people were responding to it, I'm like, okay, I'm going hard with this, like, you know, because it was,
100%.
I could feel people's reaction to it.
Hey, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, subscribe. We just hit 200K. We're trying to get to 300K.
Turn this up.
Appreciate y'all.
Let's go.